Mayor Lightfoot, every time you have a press conference, you say crime is down. The economy is booming.
Well, that's not true, but get your question, sir.
Real Chicagoans are asking me, how could you possibly even consider running for re-election as mayor of the city of Chicago after all the harm you've caused?
Well, I disagree with you fundamentally, and I don't think I need to address and dignify your comments 1 second.
Last night, I think you were on Chicago Tonight. You said that 99.9% of the criticism of you is because you're a black woman. Do you honestly believe that, considering the way the city council... The city council of Chicago is obviously made up of many black women who criticize you. Do you really believe that the criticism of you is 99.9% based on the fact that you're a black woman?
So you said about 15 things, most of which were wrong. So let's deconstruct some of that. We didn't have race riots last summer. That's no. You're wrong, sir. You're wrong. You're wrong. And I know that you like to be controversial.
All right, guys. So we have to do a follow-up on a story that I have been following very, very, very closely for a few months now, because I think it's a prime example of how our Democrat politicians are drunk on power, and they don't want to be held accountable for any of their actions or the fact that they are failing a lot of these inner liberal cities. I mean, the country as a whole, Democrats are failing the country, right? But when you have cities like Chicago, for example, or New York, as you see there, the Democrat mayors that are running those cities into the ground, they don't want to be asked questions, right? Remember, Eric Adams complained about questions that reporters were giving him, essentially saying that the press corps is too white. Not enough people of color. And that's why he was getting too many hard questions, okay? This guy literally said that. He literally said that. Lori Lightfoot had said something similar about how she would like to take more questions from so-called journalists of color and that journalism's too white or whatever, right? So Lori Lightfoot has been in conflict with this journalist by the name of William J. Kelly. And William Kelly always is probably the only journalist that actually asks Lori Lightfoot the tough questions about her city, which has to do with crime, tourism, business, things like that. You know, things that actually really matter to the city, right? Not what type of LGBTQ event Lori Lightfoot is going to next, or what type of TikTok competition is she hosting. Not those questions, actually real questions. And Lori Lightfoot did not like those questions. As at the beginning of this video, you guys saw a snippet of a press conference in which Lori Lightfoot essentially went off on the guy for simply asking questions. And they have a long history of this. This led to a strange event in which the reporter, Mr. William J. Kelly, tried to get into one of Lori Lightfoot's press events, and all of a sudden, his press pass was denied. Take a look at the footage.
Yeah. Sir, what does a 1081 stand for?
I don't know what that stands for. Do you?
No, sir. This is not valid, sir. It has to be pink.
No, they just renewed that.
You just got it?
Yeah, I just got it just now because they told me that my old one was not valid.
Step to the side, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sir,
I understand that the mayor doesn't want me to ask her questions. I understand.
No, sir.
I asked her about the police suicides, and she got very angry.
I'm sorry about that, sir.
Yeah, and I also asked her about Officer Golden. He was actually paralyzed. He was shot in the back, and she got very angry about that too.
Yes, sir. There.
Yeah.
This is the wrong color.
Well, here, show me.
Forged.
Show me. May I see it?
This is forged, sir.
It's forged?
Sir.
You're accusing me of forging that.
I'm not accusing you of anything, sir. I'm saying
so you're okay.
It's supposed to be pink, sir.
Here, may I have that?
Sir, I have to confiscate this.
So you're going to confiscate that?
Yes, sir. It's. Can you please tell me where you renewed?
I just renewed that at the police station on South Michigan Avenue.
And who did you speak to, sir?
That woman's name is very easily. I can very easily obtain that information
yes,
from
please.
you.
I need that information, sir.
Yeah, I don't have it offhand. Hi. This officer just confiscated my media credential.
These are pink. This is forged. It's not valid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's expired. You don't have to take it.
How is that expired? How is this expired? It says it expires in 2 years. It clearly says expires in 2 years.
Now, this happened after this exchange right here that this reporter had with Lori Lightfoot. Take a look.
Mayor Lightfoot, this event isn't until July of 2023. Hopefully, God willing, you won't be mayor by then. Hey, excuse me, dude, what are you doing? Do you this lunatic? I got a lunatic trying to attack me over here. Why does that keep happening? Mayor Lightfoot,
Thank you, Will.
this event
Thank you.
Doesn't take place until July of 2023. Yeah. Dude, you can't do that. That's not fair. All right, so anyways, so they actually told me that I'm not allowed, so...
And now this reporter is suing Lori Lightfoot for revoking his press credentials. And I want you guys to take a look at a video of him explaining exactly what his beef is and what's going on here. Because I think this is a shame to democracy, especially considering how the people that are doing this claim that they love democracy so much. Take a look.
Oh, man. In May, embattled Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot berating a journalist saying he's full of crap who pressed her about the rhetoric of this tweet. Quote, "To my friends in the LGBTQ plus community, the Supreme Court is coming for us next. This moment has to be a call to arms." A few months after that, that reporter was stripped of his press credentials after Mayor Lightfoot accused him of assaulting her security detail. William Kelly is now suing the Democrat mayor, and the reporter himself joins us right now from Chicago. Will, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Steve.
So, to remind people, during the pandemic, she suspended all in-person press conferences. When they started having them where you guys were back in the press briefing room with her, you were the one asking the hard questions. She didn't like it.
I was asking the obvious questions, and she lost her temper every single time. The videos went viral, millions of comments, likes, and shares. But now Mayor Lightfoot is in re-election mode, and she doesn't want any more embarrassing questions to go viral, so she revoked my media credential. And I'm telling you right now, Steve, this is a very serious constitutional crisis in the city of Chicago, and she wants to win this case against me and then expand this attack on the First Amendment to all the reporters who ask her real questions, or any reporter nationally who would dare to ask a real question of a powerful politician.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before, actually. We've got some of your exchanges with the mayor. We want to just show folks the kind of questions you ask. Watch.
The real reason why we don't have the tourism or the conventions is because of violent crime. You issued a violent tweet, call to arms. Will you rescind your call to arms tweet in the light of the mass shooting in downtown Chicago?
So,
as stupid as you think that may be.
No, sir. I will not stand down. You're not going to talk over me. That's not the rules here in this press conference. And if you don't want to abide by those rules, you can take your nonsense someplace else. Because I am about full up with you. All you have to do is walk up and down Michigan. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. You will stop speaking. You will stop speaking. You're full of crap.
Okay, there you go. Very pointed. She didn't like your questions. So, why did the superintendent of the Chicago Police then revoke your credentials?
Well, that is the way the system is set up in the city of Chicago. Surprise. The politically appointed police superintendent issues the media credentials. So essentially, he decides who's a real reporter and who isn't. The problem is that he sat down and wrote me a letter telling me that he was revoking my media credentials when, the police department is down 1,500 officers. We have an out-of-control crime epidemic. Police suicide is at an all-time high, and he's taking time out of his day to write me a letter telling me that he's revoking my media credential. I think the priorities are completely out of whack here, Steve. And the First Amendment, thankfully, Elon Musk restored the First Amendment on Twitter, but in Chicago, the First Amendment is on life support, if not dead. And, they say you can't fight City Hall, but we need to fight City Hall to restore the First Amendment if we're going to have an honest election.
Well, and you are fighting City Hall. This is in federal court. William, keep us posted on what happens, all right?
100% yes. Thank you.
All right. He's got a website. It's
Yeah. So once again, one of the prime reasons why I follow this story so closely is because clearly what is happening here is that Lori Lightfoot is engaging in election interference. Okay. She is doing what the Democrat playbook is in regards to basically censoring speech, censoring news media, censoring the press when it comes time for them to get elected. Same thing the Democrats did when they weaponized the FBI and the Department of Justice to censor the Hunter Biden story, right? The Democrats do this all the time, okay? Just another example of it. Again, it reminds me of what happened recently with Karine Jean-Pierre and Fauci, how she tried to shield Fauci from tough questions about the origins of COVID-19, right? Amid the fact that the GOP is investigating Dr. Fauci, and they're probably going to ask questions about that, right? Did taxpayer funding contribute to the potential development of this virus? And did we have a lab leak occur that basically caused the whole world to shut down? Legitimate questions that should be asked. But for whatever reason, Karine Jean-Pierre decided that, I don't want y'all asking these type of questions. We're not going to call on journalists from conservative outlets. I believe it was a Daily Caller reporter. And another reporter actually stood up for that reporter and said, look, you're not calling on conservative journalists. Like, you're not calling on a diversity of journalists in the room. You're just calling on journalists that are going to kiss your behind, right? The mainstream liberal media. And what you have here in this situation with Lori Lightfoot is that she wants to kick out reporters that disagree with her politically, that are going to ask her tough questions about, again, crime, business, tourism, real questions about what's going on in the city, police suicides, etc. Nah, I don't want to answer those questions. Let me get mad and throw a fit. And also make up facts. She does that as well, too. Let's pretend like everything is under control. Again, these are the people that claim that they are so concerned about democracy. But they go out of their way to try to censor the press in order to get elected. But they try to lecture us on democracy. I think it's 100% fair to ask about Lori Lightfoot's language and rhetoric in her tweets about a call to arm over Roe v. Wade, considering how, according to the FBI, that is, 70% of the post-Roe v. Wade violence that is associated with abortion was against pro-life family centers, right? It was against pro-life groups. But yeah, Democrats, again, want to lecture us about political violence in this country coming from the right, except every single time it turns out that that's not the case, okay? When something happens, then they blame the right for it. The only thing they really got is the whole January 6th thing. That's it. That's the only thing they have. That's why they won't stop talking about it. Because they know it is extremely rare and far in between in which you see actual violence coming from the right. Most of this violence is coming from left-wing groups. And quite simply, this reporter was holding Lori Lightfoot accountable. But Lori Lightfoot says, no accountability. I'm going to revoke your press pass. And she did it through the police. She appoints the superintendent of police, and he basically revoked the pass. And no journalists are standing up for this guy. You know, you would think that other journalists would be out here screaming from the rooftops saying that this is unfair, that Lori Lightfoot needs to get this man his press credentials back, regardless of whether or not she likes the questions that he asked, because that's the reason why it got revoked. It didn't get revoked for bumping into Lori Lightfoot's security or anything like that. I mean, we all saw that video. He didn't bump into anybody. He wasn't trying to hurt anybody. He was simply asking questions. But she used any little excuse she could to get this guy out of here right before she's up for re-election, right? Now that she's trying to get re-elected, which, I mean, God, I don't know who would vote for her, but who knows? Katie Hobbs allegedly got Arizona to vote for her. So, I mean, at this point, hey, I wouldn't be surprised who gets elected from the Democrats. Again, these people elected Katie Hobbs and John Fetterman. So wouldn't be surprised if Lori Lightfoot gets reelected, right? Doesn't matter to the Democrats, okay, for whatever reason. But yeah, this is the actual real attack on democracy, guys, here, right? When you attack the press, when you censor the press, when you don't call on conservative outlets, that's the real attack on democracy. And this is one of these things that's not being talked about enough, how the Democrats are systemically, attacking the press when the press covers them in ways that they don't like. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.